Welcome to Weaving New Paths, Conversations with Visionaries. I'm your host, Grandmother Sharon Raji Maynard. Each week, we sit with individuals who followed a calling, who turned idea into healing, creativity, and change. Their stories remind us that every dream matters. You matter. And that new pathways are being woven every day. Thank you for joining us. Let's step into today's conversation. Welcome, listeners. Sharon Raji Maynard here with Weaving New Paths, which is a podcast of women with voices who remember that their creation began with a whisper, tap on the shoulder. And I'm here to have them tell you their stories so that you can be affirmed with what it is you're feeling. So today I'm with Carolina, Oceana, and I am really glad to be able to spend time to learn a little bit more about you and what it is you're about and why you're about it. So welcome, Carolina. Carolina, there you go.
Caroline.
I put them together.
Yeah, I kind of did. That's okay. That's all right.
That's what, anyway. So tell us just a little bit about you in this day and time, and then we'll go back and forth into other kind of experiences. So what is it that you are about?
Well, I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and my spirit team moved me here. I had been living for 3 years on the central coast of California, and I loved it. I love being near the sea. I love California, and that's a less populated, less sort of crazy place than Los Angeles, where I spent 7 years in the 90s. And even though I still have friends there, and I kept saying to my team, you want me to move to Santa Fe? And I've done this a few times in my life. I've spent a few months going, are you sure?
Yes.
They're always sure. It just takes me some time to accept. And I'm sure everybody here knows what I'm talking about. You feel this nudge. It's important to do this or that right now. It's important to go here. No, go here today, not tomorrow. And you don't understand it at the time. And it's very annoying. And then over time, you begin to realize it. So I've been in Santa Fe for 4 years now, actually living in a little village just south of there. And it's an amazing place. And I moved out west in 2015, in part because I wanted to learn more from the indigenous cultures, meet more Native people, and just have the blessing of knowing more of the old ways. Which are still in place in many places and in many ways, powerfully so in New Mexico, where the Native cultures are really enjoyed and celebrated. And people come here for that. But I'm a channeler, I'm an energy worker and a writer, and been a few other things, an actor, playwright, poet, different things, different times, and of course, a lot of different day jobs to support all that. But what I do now, I'm very, very blessed to do, and I'm very thankful for it. Yeah.
Wow. So your website, Ascension Times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that speak to what it is that all has come together for right now?
Well, it speaks to that in a much bigger way. So it's not really about my journey per se, but I know what you mean. It's about how all of us are noticing how all these different chapters, these different pieces of our lives have added up to some wisdom we would never have had otherwise, or something we're able to gift to others, which we would never have been able to do if we hadn't been down the road that we've been down. So it's about understanding things, releasing anger, bitterness, resentment. I understand about that. I had a hard time growing up, but I chose these two wacky people who were my parents. I chose the places I lived. One that I got along with well, which was Augusta, Maine, and one that I could never adjust to, which was rural Pennsylvania, where we moved when I was 12. And you have to just kind of look at your life and say, yeah, okay, I planned it. I
Mhm.
planned it, and sit down with your higher self and say, I'd love to know why I planned this miserable situation or this awful relationship or this awful job that I was afraid to leave because I wouldn't have income otherwise, and on and on. We just have to, ask why. Or if you don't trust what you hear, you can talk to me or my friend Bonnie Saratori. For instance, my friend Jennifer Scalia. There are phenomenal, absolutely wonderful energy workers out there who are highly
Mhm.
psychic. And they'll show you, as the collective do in channeling sessions, they'll say, look, you've met up with these people or this woman or this guy many, many times, or you've been abused this way or had this gift many, many times. But in this lifetime, you came in, you said, look, I'm going to resolve this. I'm going to figure this out, or I'm going to use this gift, or I'm going to close the chapter. I'm going to close down and dissolve that old timeline, allowing my soul to gather strength and wisdom and inner knowing from it, but not holding on to the darkness of it.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's what I help people do. I feel that's what the heck we're here for right now on this planet.
Yeah.
Unusual time to be on the planet.
Oh,
Very.
it is. It is. You know what that reminds me of is, the old platform that a lot of people get stuck in is I'm a victim.
Oh yeah,
I'm a victim, and therefore so and so's the bad guy,
yeah,
and I'll be fine when the bad guy changes or leaves, or and somebody will rescue me. That
yeah.
old triad: I'm the victim, here's the bad guy, and where's my rescuer?
Rescuer.
And then you find that if you're playing one of those roles, if you're playing victim, you're going to be seen by others not just as the victim, but sometimes you're the bad guy in their life. It's that platform of I'm not responsible, so I'm the
Yeah,
victim is a trap. I call it a trap of toxic patriarchy, toxic masculinity. It isn't the truth at all. So when you said, I chose these two people,
yeah.
that immediately takes you off of that platform.
Oh
I
yeah.
chose I chose those two people. And for a lot of individuals out there, it's really still hard for them to say, I chose that awful situation, but it is a freedom, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating to me because so many people will get angry and defensive and say, but I didn't. And I never push it.
Mm-hmm.
But if
Mm-hmm.
I say something to the effect of we choose our lives before we come in, or we make choices, or our vibration is what connects us to certain people and situations, some people will get really angry and say, I didn't
Yeah.
choose my abusive ex. I didn't choose my crazy parents or to be ill as a child, and on and on. And I understand 100%. I've been through a lot. But I'm still here, I'm still breathing. And you're absolutely right that it's extremely not just empowering, it's kind of celebratory to say, wow, I had a really hard time, but these decades were really hard for me. But here I am, I made it, I created that and I have drawn tremendous strength from it. Now, the left brain is probably going to say, are you kidding? Some days you're still unhappy that this and
Yeah.
this happened. What are you talking about? Wisdom? Are you nuts? That's okay. Keep saying it
Mm-hmm.
because the heart is so much more powerful than the mind. And
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, the symbol, if you can find a symbol somewhere, maybe a seashell that was formed into something beautiful over thousands or millions of years, and keep that in your room or in your living room, you'll see it often. And remind yourself all this beauty of that shell and all this beauty that is me inwardly
Mm-hmm.
and my energies, we created that. All those harsh winds and harsh waves hitting us, that's okay. The rough
Mm-hmm.
sand, that's okay because
Mm-hmm.
it created something phenomenal. Now, we can make a conscious choice, I feel, in this life to grow in joy from now on.
Oh,
And
yes.
I'm after my team about that all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable things, not awful, tremendous, bad stuff, I wouldn't say happens to me, but uncomfortable, wacky stuff will still happen to me at times.
Yes.
And I'll say to my spirit team, which, everyone has, unless you're a very dark creature, you've got these guides, angels, and higher self with you, and your soul family sending you so much love. But I'll say to them, what was that about? And
Yes.
they say, it appears you made a mistake there, but it
Mm-hmm.
was just a mishap. And we
Mm-hmm.
want you to stop blaming yourself. They said this to me recently. Stop blaming yourself for not being perfect. If
Mm-hmm.
you grew up with one or more perfectionist parents and you were criticized a great deal and even yelled at for not being perfect. You created a split there just to survive. Not
Yeah.
that it's bad or wrong, but purely to survive. And so there's that perfectionist self wanting to hit the authentic, totally human, fully here and just making their way through life self and saying, whoa, made a mistake, you moron, feel bad, feel bad.
Yeah.
And the point of this life, this time we're in, is to finally love and accept ourselves, lumps and all. And
Right.
this is just, it's a miraculous time, Sharon, because in all these other lives, we've just taken our lumps, we've just taken the pain and thought, oh, life's hard, life's rough, you know. And I've heard people say this, well, you know, that's just life. It's all rough or 90% hard. It's up the hill, nothing's easy. And I understand about that. Absolutely. I lived in New York
Yes.
where people love to whine and complain all the time. One of the reasons I left when I was 30. But you know, you have to just wake yourself up. Wait a minute, the Earth is in fifth density. Wait a minute, I'm getting more and more light filled every moment.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm becoming my higher self. It's different this time.
Yeah.
So you're right. I agree. It's
Mm-hmm.
liberating and it's highly, highly positive. Just to come out of the duality, stop blaming ourselves and other people.
Yeah.
Not going to get us anywhere.
What, and it may not have been a moment, but sometimes it is a moment. What was it that caused you to kind of like, some say, you know, hit a wall and go like, whoa, something I've got to do something. You know, what was that time or moment situation for you?
Um, I mean, I won't go into it a lot. I have to say it came at the roughest time in my life that I almost didn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
Certain childhood memories that are incredibly rough will be suppressed and then
Yes.
they'll come up after the abuser passes on. And that happened with me when after
Yeah.
5 weeks after my father died, a day before I turned 35, I was in a class with all women and people talking about how they'd been abused and, you know,
Yeah.
sexually and otherwise. And a memory came up. It kind of superimposed itself
Mm,
on me. And we were there to train to be for a hotline for,
yeah.
you know, abuse hotline. And a memory came up and I was kind of thrown by it, but I thought maybe it just happened once. And I was 18 months
Mm,
old in that memory. And then
wow.
it just started cascading. They just started flowing into about 30 of them. I was so stunned. I had days where I couldn't really speak. And I'd known that my father was mentally ill and had a lot of problems that he refused to seek help for. It took me a while. My friends kept nudging me, you've got to go into therapy. And I didn't feel like making phone calls. But I can
Yes.
tell you, I went into therapy, and with that therapist, and later with energy workers, I decided this isn't going to destroy me. I'm going to work from being a survivor, a victim to survivor, and then to thriver.
Yes.
And I had to, I had no choice. Either I was going to end things or I
Mm-hmm.
was going to say, no, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to go down this other road. And that
Yeah.
road was not plain and not clear to me at first. I needed help for somebody to point it out, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, my beautiful spirit team was there. Yeshua was with me. I was raised very conservative Christian. I never felt, even though my father was, as many abusers, a clergy member, I never felt abandoned by Yeshua or Mary Magdalene, who has all the beautiful gifts that Yeshua has, her twin flame. So I didn't hold anything against him, but I definitely needed outer help as well. And
Yeah.
sometimes people will try to do the spiritual bypass where they just forgive or just say New Age affirmations or just do this or that. And that's actually very dangerous psychologically. And I have met people who are deeply wounded and in terrible trouble because of that. And I determined that also was not going to be me. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
going to cover this up. I was going to have to walk through the muck.
Get help. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So it's been a journey. Yeah.
Um, when I was doing my work, I was reminded how similar my teachings were to the ancient mystery schools, the Hermetic school. In the Hermetic school, there's a thing called the moon path and the sun
Okay.
path,
Yeah.
right? And a moon path is one where you hit the wall, you're like, oh my gosh, what? Because you don't know you're in the box. You're in a box. Your box doesn't contain what you need. And so
Yeah.
when you hit the wall, sometimes you stay in the box and you never get what you need. But if you hit the wall and you look around, for anything that's going to give you something new. And it usually is someone either trained or they've had the experience of. So their path that they're sharing with you is a moon path. It's one they have used to get to where they, to get where they are. And they share that with you, which helps you get out of your box. The moon path, a very important piece. But what's really the value is to get from the moon path someone else's experience and wisdom that also helps you get to your own guidance. And that's what I want you to speak to next, because you also speak to your own guidance. When, I mean, you indicated there was always that connection, but when were you aware of that inner guidance and connection from those beings or other beings? When did that
Yeah.
click in for you?
They've always been there. And I just want to say briefly what you've just elucidated for us beautifully is the divine feminine to a huge degree. And
Mm-hmm.
people, in the Middle Ages, women were taught to pray to the moon because they were thought not not really worthy to pray to God the Father, quote unquote. But that is such a beautiful image. Thank you. So I had a ton of dark force interference, ton of dark entity
Mm-hmm.
interference as I was growing up. And the house I was growing up in was very dark, and actually dark physically as well as mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so I would hear voices, and some of them claimed to be Yeshua, as again, growing up in the church, that's who I trusted. And then, but it wasn't him because I felt more fear. And so
Yeah.
over time, I started to separate and
Discern.
realize who was who.
Discern.
Yeah, discern who was
Discern.
what and who was who. And
Yes.
then a beautiful voice began to come through, a bit in my 20s, and it had a lot of clatter, a lot of noise to break through because I had been so misled and so many misinterpretations out there about how women
Yeah.
should live their lives. And this is
Yes.
going back a few years. I'm over 60, so this is like not too enlightened a moment than when I was in my teens and 20s. But I began to realize there was this beautiful voice that, as Oren, who was channeled by Sanea Roman for so many years, this beautiful higher being Oren would say, it's going to feel like something you've always known when the truth comes in, and it's going to hold a special lightness to it. And I began to recognize my higher self and my guide's voices that way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
notice how you feel inwardly, I would say to anybody and myself, as you're receiving somebody's words coming in, or an inner nudge, might be a symbol, an image, go here, not there. How about this, even though it makes no sense to you at the time, like I was saying. Just you have to it's partly trial and error. You have to try out different things. Did that work out? Muscle testing is helpful, where you perform this chain with the tip of the thumb, tip of the forefinger connected, and then link into the other. And if you cannot pull those hands apart, that's a yes. If they come apart easily, that's a no. And of course, it doesn't answer everything, but it's
Mm-hmm.
a start. It's a start to tap into the fact that your body knows the truth, even if the mind has been programmed on a whole other scheme, a whole other agenda, which is maybe good for you, maybe not.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I have used muscle testing for years as a bit of a quick backup,
Yeah.
but I also can hear my team very clearly. And
So discernment is really important. So how do you do that for you?
all right. Well, for me, the first thing I do, I mean, I'm so practiced now at hearing my higher self and guides that I don't need to question it. But if you're just starting out on that, I would say use muscle testing. Now, you can do an either or yes, no, doesn't matter which hand holds no or yes, but you're going to ask your question, and the correct answer is going to slowly raise itself. And again, it won't answer every question, on earth, but it is a lovely start to
Mm-hmm.
connect you with the fact that your body already knows what to trust and knows what is real and what
Yes.
isn't. And
Yes.
then as you're listening inwardly, you can always insist, if for those who do hear inwardly, you can always insist only that which is of divine love and divine light is allowed to speak with me now. If you
Mm-hmm.
are not of that, you're gone. Go into the
Mm-hmm.
light and just
Hmm.
Toss them in, open a portal, toss them in, and close the door if you feel like they're saying something that's accusatory, that judges you, that's critical, that makes you feel kind of uneasy, unsure, maybe fearful or anxious. That's not going to be your higher self. And when you hear something that's calming and positive, now, different voices can come in. It might be a loved one on the other side, but chances are, if you insist to begin with, I only, I am only listening to my spirit guides and higher self right now. And I
Hmm.
ask you to come through and assist. And some people are good at actually channeling answers from them, writing them out or typing them out. And sometimes it's just something you're going to hear. It is good to write down the direction you receive, or it's easy to forget it. So I
It
keep
is.
a journal and I ask a question and they provide an answer. Yeah, it's just practice. That's all.
It
Yeah.
is. And
Watch how you feel.
I agree with you. What I always say to my students is, first of all, start with the statement, I'm a presence of. What are the qualities you're holding? And then that the space holds only those qualities, and the information coming from my spiritual guides, no matter earthly or unearthly, bring those qualities. Just like you set your space. And then the other thing I just discovered, because Christ was really and has been maintained to be kind of my touch point. And that's where I built that confidence and trust in that presence, and kind of you begin to understand the feeling of the voice, right?
Yeah.
There's a sense of, and so there was two questions I would ask sometimes. If I heard or sensed another voice, I would call in Christ and say, "Are you here?" Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know that voice? Do you know who is here? And do you suggest I listen to them? So I
Yeah.
use, because here's a trusted voice. And then the other question is, and I use also, I don't use muscle testing, I use penduluming, which is the similar thing.
Sure. Sure.
Um, and the other question I ask of that voice is, are you of my light?
Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Very
And
good.
if there's no answer, then I have them removed from my space. If there's wishy-washy, removed from my space. But I found, um, as you get a little bit further, more solid with your connection to your team, that sometimes that voice that is not your higher self or even not of the light has information to help you unlock some of your old thought patterns too. But
Yeah. Yeah.
that's down the road a ways. But discernment and practice, I agree, is so important. And it to me, it's critical to life on earth. What do you think? Having this connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that veil that used to exist between us and the higher realms is really gone.
Mm-hmm.
Really just, or it's, if somebody feels it's still there, they're just holding it up as protection because it scares them, which is understandable. We've been taught to scare it. Oh, that means you died or something, that kind of
Yes.
thing. So, absolutely beautiful. I love that idea. You can call in Yeshua or Archangel Michael or whomever to say, please remove any interferences that should not be here and assist me in hearing real
Yes.
guidance, real divine love guidance from my team or from you,
Yes.
absolutely
Yep.
wonderful. They're always here for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, they are. And sometimes we have to look around because we haven't been taught to know that
Yeah.
they're right here. So
Yep.
they're kind of over here because they're not going to jump in and manipulate our life. That is not at all a quality of our
No.
spiritual teams. So, how can people be more involved, learn more, participate with what you've got weaving into the world, Caroline?
Oh, well, thank you, Sharon. My website is ascensiontimes.com. So Ascension like moving up to 5D and times like New York
Now.
Times. Yeah, .com. Well, this is our moment. This is the era. And
Mhm.
so on that website, you'll find that you can book a single or a package chat private channeling sessions. I've got two subscription membership groups. One I've had for the last 8 years, Abundant Living Community, which is such a beautiful community. We have a monthly channeled answer with energy work for silver members, gold and platinum plus, almost every week. 3 or 4 weeks out of the month, we'll have group sessions and people ask a question and get that answered by a Zoom call. And now same thing with Dragon Light Portal, that we just meet once a month with that. But I just started that and people are already really enjoying it, really love the Dragon videos and the energy work. And it's just a beautiful group. And we just met on Monday for the first time for a group session. And you get channeled answers from the collective. The dragon tribes, they're contributing very beautifully on an energy level. And then they also often share their light language, which people might feel sounds a little strange. It's sort of like if you could think of an issue right now people are dealing with that's scaring them, like maybe in the US, the economy, and also these horrible fires happening. So I can ask if you'd like the dragon tribes to speak briefly about that. So for fears for the economy, so they're saying, do not be distressed by outer appearance. And what is coming is so beautiful that it's just going to wipe away any memory of any rough time. So just breathe, stay in your body and breathe. Believe it or not, all is well. And then I'll ask them again, offering energy work as they do so about these fires. So what they're offering there is that beautiful white, cool white flame of the divine feminine. It's not going to increase the fires. It's transmuting. It's calming people. It's letting them know you will begin again. You lost your home or your business. That is devastating, but you will begin again. You're here for beautiful reasons, and new growth can be assisted. We have amazing Star Nations assistance.
Yes, we do.
Once more disclosure happens and open contact happens, we'll be receiving a ton of help all over the earth. So
Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Phoenix Rising. Hey, thank you so much for being part of the circle, Carolyn, sharing what you do. So listeners, may you be inspired to pay attention to the threads coming to you, because often what you hear to do, you don't understand why. You do the action because it's of the light. It's from your higher self. And then looking back, you can go like, that's why I did it. You may not understand in the moment. That's how we are working. So build a trust, get the teachers, be part of the change. Thank you, Caroline. Blessings to you and to your work.
Much love to you and everyone. Namaste.
Bye. And to our valued listeners, thank you for being with us here in the sacred space of sovereignty, inquiry, and inspiration. As you explore our guests' work, may you also feel the quiet stirring of your own gift, asking to come alive. The world is shifting, and your unique thread of weaving is essential in that great tapestry. If this conversation nourished you, inspired you, pass it along to others who are seeking hope, direction, and also dreaming a new world into being. We invite you back for the next episode of Weaving New Paths, where together we will continue opening the doors to new ways of seeing, being, and collaborating. Until then, blessings.